Welcome to the Expert Speaker Podcast. Our guest here today, Patricia Lohan. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Perfectly.
Perfect. From Ireland, telling us about Feng Shui, the expert in Feng Shui. And I'm super excited because it's all new territory for me. And I'm excited to learn for myself, my business, my environment. Patricia, how did you become an expert in Feng Shui?
Feng Shui found me when I was 16. So I got my first books about it when I was 16 and proceeded to Feng Shui and attempt to Feng Shui my parents' home. But really, I caught the bug several years into my spiritual journey when I was working with clients as a holistic therapist, releasing trauma and anxiety and stuff from their lives, helping them like release and move to the next level in their lives. When my intuitive side was like, tell me about your bedroom. What's going on in your kitchen? What's going on with your house? And they looked at me like I had 10 heads. And really
Those are
what happened
strange
was,
questions.
they are strange questions,
You don't hear
especially when
that
you're
much.
working. No. And like at that same time, I had just moved into a new apartment and had decided I'm not leaving here until I meet the one. Like, I'm not leaving until I'm moving into my home
Okay.
house. So I proceeded to feng shui my bedroom and my apartment for love. At the same time, I'm kind of like
Let me
giving my
pause you
client.
there. Feng shuiing the apartment for love. So let's take a step back and define what is feng shui.
Love it. So feng shui is acupuncture for your home. And basically your home
Oh.
can be a beacon for all that you want, attracting all that you want, or it can be repelling it. So it's literally like got this magnetic force and it is like on for some things or off.
Mm.
So
Mm.
for me, I wanted to call in love at that time. So I set it up energetically for love and called in my husband. But most people come to me when they're kind of stuck in life. So
Hang on.
things are not,
And called in my husband. We
yeah.
got to hear the juicy details. So it
So
worked. You feng
it
shuied your
worked.
home and the doorbell rang and you said, you must be my husband. I moved some furniture around my house. I knew you'd be coming any minute now. Is
Well,
that
it
how it
gets like
happened?
a bit crazier because I met Ken very soon after I'd set up my space. And, you know, in the personal development world, we're about like doing the inner work to call in what we want and all of that. And I'm 100% behind all that. But at the same time, I was doing that for love, but I really had my space ready. And when I met Ken, and after a while, a few dates, he brought me up to his house in the countryside and we went for a walk. And then he gave me a tour of the house that he'd built. And he walks in, he's like, oh, this is my bedroom. And I was like, he's feng shuied this.
Oh,
Like,
la la.
it
You
was
can
totally
tell.
feng shuied. I
You
swear. So in the back of my head, I was like, he's feng shuied this. And he had. So he had actually been into feng shui in his 20s,
okay.
because it's really about like, for him, it was very much around, you know, you can't like clear the internal clutter if your external environment is not like supporting it. If it, you know, it
I
like
hear that.
mirrors it.
I hear that.
So he really got into it in his 20s. So both of us then kind of went on a journey of feng shui together. The same, like literally, like it was just we were doing all these things around our house, and everyone was like, "What have you just done? What have you just done?" And at the same time, like major feng shui gurus came to Ireland, like of all places, and we were like,
Really?
"God, we're going down this rabbit hole," and we
Okay.
just went for it. We just went for it, both of us.
And you got educated, and is it the sort of thing that you get certified in, and there's certain schools and that sort of thing?
There's different schools. There are different schools. For me, it's the same one that I had kind of had books about when I was 16, and had been interested in and always like tweaking things. But this was just the deeper level of it. So we
Okay, so
both
you're the
dived into it.
first feng shui person I've ever met. My extent of knowledge of feng shui is moving furnitures. That's all I know. And
Yeah.
just in this brief conversation, I'm gathering that it's a lot more than that.
Yes.
You mentioned before we pressed record about not facing the door and having a wall behind you. I'm really interested into seeing how you built your business in educating other people about feng shui. I know you work with some people one-on-one. and I know you educate people online and around the world.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got into the business of educating people about feng shui.
So everything that I've ever learned and ever taught, I've always just gone down it from a place of just pure curiosity and a
Mm,
space of like, this has worked really well for me. I want to learn more. And that's always been my journey with whatever thing I've been doing. So when I went down the rabbit hole of feng shui, I had no idea that this was going to become like my life, like no
mm.
idea at all. But what happened was people started asking me, like, how did you meet Ken? How did you do this? Oh my God, you're just getting this big windfall. You've just finished your house. And I'm like, well, we did this. And that's how we started. But actually, Ken and I were both in very different businesses. I had like a holistic business, as I mentioned, and my husband was an engineer. And we were getting married. And he said, well, we were like, where are we going on our honeymoon? And we're like, let's go to India. And then we're like, no, we want to go here, we want to go here. And we're like, let's just go. Like, let's just go. And I had in my head that I would like to have an online business. I had some friends in the
Uh-huh.
online world, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like try this out. So I had not really done much with this. And we both like closed our business. He finished engineering. I closed my business in practice, in-person practice. And
Would
we
that be
headed
the
off to
feng
India.
shui in-person practice or whole
I was
that
doing
mentioned?
some in-person practice with feng shui, yeah, but I
Yeah,
actually my other holistic practice as well, like it was kind of all together.
got it.
So I just like left and we went to India, and then we were there going, we don't know what we're gonna do. Then we headed to Bali, and I had a small Facebook group at the time, and I used to just like share feng shui tips. And they would be like, oh, tell us more, tell us more. So I decided to create a beginner's course in feng shui, like a baby course, like in feng shui, like where to get started, what to do. And I put it out there, and 6 people joined the first round. And it has just like that program isn't available anymore because the beginner stuff is when people would come to me at that place and they'd start doing the beginners things, I was like, okay, yeah, this is great, but I know we can do more if I have
Yeah.
more information. So your
Mm.
house is completely unique. Like it's just like a person. It has its own date of birth. It has its own, the way it's situated, the shape of it. There's so
Yeah.
many little nuances, and we create a specific report for everyone. So like our world and our programs are very customized. It's not like, here's your program, goodbye. It's like, come into our community, tell us all about your house, show us your photos,
Wow.
we create your report, and we're like, this is what you have to do, and comments will come part of our journey in our community. And what's happened and what's blown me away more than anything is in the past, when I used to do those like one-off consultations in a house with someone, I would go and I'd be like, da 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 da, here's what you do. I'll give them all the information. And it was a
Yeah.
bit like too much information in one go, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, they were out on their own, like kind of like, I don't know, like my husband is a bit resistant. I'm doing this thing. How am I going to do it?
Right.
And they would have with me. They would have like, reach out to me, but the implementation level was so low that then that would drive
Uh-huh.
me crazy because they've like invested in something, but not put in
Yes.
the work.
Yes.
So model and what we seen when we started doing it online and creating this community was implementation like skyrocketed, which then led to results going through the roof, like clients doubling their business in their first month, like having a wait list, like
Okay,
getting on
let me
TV.
pause you there. Patricia, those are incredible results. Getting on TV, what are the 3 keys to getting the implementation? What did you discover that got them to do the implementation? You mentioned there's a community element to it. What gets
Yeah.
the person who takes a course to implement? You
Mhm.
went from low implementation and low results
Yeah.
to incredible implementation and amazing results. What's the secret?
So the secret is, like, as I said, community, like having the space for people, the supportive community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like super active in our group in terms of like
There we
answering
go.
questions,
Yeah.
supporting them. Like I'm really active in our Facebook group. We actually have regular calls like twice a week. So there's like always a place to answer a question. With different models for answering questions as well. So they can like submit their questions in advance for live calls. So even if they can't make the live call, they can have me verbally answer their question. I have another team member in there who answers questions along with Ken. That's a big part. But the other one is we started by, actually a big part is that they have to watch a certain amount of the information before they get their personal report, because they need
Oh,
to
there you
know how.
go.
So there's like a little like test, they have a little quiz to do
Okay,
before they get.
nice work.
So essentially, when they go through the program, they've watched everything. Like, and honestly, if they once they watch that, they're like 80% there with their feng shui. Like once they've watched
Got it.
that and they get their report, they're going to know what to do. So that's all just evolved as we've done it, you know. In the beginning, we would like drip feed information to them each week with like what they're to do this week. But that turned out to be a little bit complex because there's some things will be duplicated. So we just learned going through it to see the
Good for
difference.
you.
And now what's happened is, because of the results, like because the results are so insane that like when someone comes into the group and they're a bit like, oh, Patricia told me to do this, my report says this, like literally 20 people jump on the post and I'm like, just do it. Don't kill your husband. Don't care about your son. Like, just do it. Like, la 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 la. So it's not just me being the like telling you what to do. It's like the whole team. Like we've just this whole team of people who are like, oh my God, just do it because it's gonna work.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's quite a beautiful thing that you've created, and a beautiful story of just setting out onto an adventure with a laptop and a possibility of Wi-Fi somewhere. And
that's why we got the idea.
A love story. I mean, that's got to sell like hotcakes. That's beautiful. Okay, so I've got a question for you about my feng shui, if I may.
Go for it. Yeah.
I had a very interesting situation a couple weeks ago. Basement flooded. I got brand new floors, and everything from my basement is piled into one corner of my house right now. So I've got a complete, and this is just my office. So it's all office. I live in a duplex. So I live upstairs, and I've heard a little bit about the energy that's below you, like while you're asleep. I heard about that somewhere. So my office is below where I live. We've got an up and down duplex, okay? And I'm blank palette. I'm thinking one room could be a little library and a little massage chair, another room, a guest bedroom. I got my office room. So how do I think through the blank palette scenario of my office? I got all the stuff and I can put it in all the places. What's my thought process? How do I do this?
So the nice thing about feng shui is, for me, I'm like, okay, if this is just going to be kind of your work part, like this is fun, because I'm like, oh wow, like you can make your office and your space become this like replica of your vision board. Like, what are you doing this for? Where are you going? Like, what's your goals? You know, if I was to be in person in your office today, like walking in, what you want me to feel, what you want me to be like, oh wow, like this business is like, you know, this is like a massive off the Richter scale business, you know? So it's like, what can you do with that? So that's like visual is a really big one for like visually. Now, every part of your home represents a different part of your life. So as I said, your feng shui is like, your house is like a person and it has that own personality.
Yeah.
But just like say lungs, they have their job and the heart of their job. And when it comes to directions, and this is another kind of aspect of feng shui, there's specific parts of your home that represents different parts of your life. Like they have that job. Like, so there's the money area, there's the fame and reputation area, which would be super important for all of your clients. Like that's the south part of your space. So how'd you find the south? iPhones, they actually have a compass on them now.
Okay.
Or you can download compass on Android and like figure out where your south is. So figure out where south is in that space and be like, okay, so what would I want? Like, what award would I like to win? What magazine do I want to be featured in? Like, where do I want to be seen? Okay. That would be the perfect place to have that image or those kind of images in, or even intentions, affirmations in that part of your home. And for me, what this is about, like I said, feng shui is acupuncture for your home. We're creating this fertile foundation, this kind of base level fertile foundation to like plant the seeds of intention of what it is you want. So you're like, I want to have a TED talk. I want to be on this podcast. And that's what kind of happens. It's like you can consciously create your life using your environment to support you. in our world, we know there's crazy stuff going on outside our four walls, but we
Mm-hmm.
have the power to create an environment that is aligned with us energetically, aligned with our goals and our vision. And that's where the magic really comes in, because it kind of like turbo boosts your vision and your what you're doing and your reach out to the world.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. It's like the vision board, home. It's acupuncture for your house. I've never heard of these things, and they're beautiful ways to describe. It's a beautiful thing. I never knew about this. I'm excited to be learning from you. So now, for the traveling speaker,
The
and for
traveling
you,
speaker.
the occasional conference attendee, the occasional speaker about, you get on your airplane, you get into your hotel, maybe you rented an Airbnb. What are the travel hacks that when you get into a new space, you get that energy all right?
Mm. So for me, one of my travel hacks is making sure that my house is okay, like my actual main house, because that's like my anchor energy. You know, that is the anchor for us. So for example, we're like kind of changing the format of our life right now, and we're going to have our house in Ireland all good to go as a place that we can come back to whenever we want. And so that's important, number one, the anchor. But when you get into that new place, like open the windows, you know, like make sure you kind of clear the space out even before you book it. Like just get into that sense of feeling, you know, like when you're looking at the place, like how does it feel? Like honestly, you'll kind of get like do I feel like, oh, or oh yeah, there's like an openness. That is an important thing. Even just looking at the photos, especially with Airbnbs, I'm a big stickler for like, oh, like how does it feel? And just from the description and the photos, that's a big one. But then when you get there, open the windows. Even like I bring with me like a little bell and a space clearing
Ooh.
like sage or palo santo with me, just to kind of like smudge the place. And then I'm not too head up, but most of the time, again, if it's like hotel rooms or Airbnbs, I really am kind of a stickler for like artwork. That's a big one because that can really affect your dreams and can be a bit weird. So artwork, I would usually like check it beforehand, or if I'm like kind of like, oh God, that piece looks really weird, I will cover it. I'll just get a towel and cover it. That's nice because you want to be able to sleep properly. I'll also usually cover the TV because when you're in bed, you don't want something like reflecting you. So I'll like to, and you know, your TV has a lot of energy. Like there's a lot going on with that. So I would usually cover the TV. And then from that, once I've done a little space clearing, and I would have done like some prep, making sure that like that the bed was positioned in a good way. If I've been there for a bit longer and I'm like, you know, going to be doing a conference, doing a call or something, I will have a look. I may end up like kind of moving the desk around and making myself a little more comfortable, going, okay, I'm going to be sitting here working for a few hours. I'm not going to sit hunched with my back to the door, because that will make me feel pretty overwhelmed, and I'll be sensitive to that. So just it's, and they're not like big things. Like it's not like I'm going to wreck the place or anything. It's like I'm going to put a scarf over that or a towel here or move it a little bit. But
What do you tell them ahead of time when you book?
I usually don't say anything. Like I
Yeah,
usually don't say
that's a nice
anything.
little
Yeah, we.
routine. You're creating quite the little sanctuary on the move. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward to, you now have a mobile business, traveling lifestyle, the anchor home in Ireland, trips to Bali, and you mentioned you're going to have a home in Greece, you're going to have a home in Long Island, Bali, and Ireland, the four islands.
The four islands.
So you've built this lifestyle for yourself and a traveling expert, speaking, community leading, educating, course offering, one-on-one consulting, guru, expert in Feng Shui.
Uh-huh.
How does speaking play into your lifestyle in terms of when you think about public speaking and speaking on stages and speaking at events and speaking on podcasts? How do you think about speaking these days?
I think it's actually one of my most important things that I do in my business.
What makes you say that?
Because it's how I share and educate. Like today, you were like, I don't know anything about feng shui. Oh my God, like this is all new. So
Yeah.
that's really important. It's like how I share my message. I'm also not a good like typing and stuff like that isn't mine. Like we've met in person. Like I'm such a people person and communicator, and I love that. I also love community. So one of the big things that shifted for us in our business and we've moved more, I'm doing more of, is actually speaking and creating my own events. So in June, I had an event in Ireland. We had 140 women,
Oh my
and it
goodness.
was
Wow.
so amazing. And
Wow.
like at that day on that stage, I was like, this is it. Like, this is
Oh,
it. So
yeah.
it was so powerful and huge, profound changes for people. That day was like kind of a synergy. It was actually lots of my Feng Shui community came to the event. We didn't talk about community. We didn't really talk about Feng Shui. We talked about all my other work, which is like the, you know, the trauma work, the clearing, the healing stuff, the mindset, the visioning
Really?
stuff. So, but for me, I don't really talk about that too much until they've got their house sorted, because there's no point me like working. I have some
Isn't
one-to-one
that
clients,
true?
but because yeah, but especially when it's like one of my fundamentals is like, you know, I if they're coming to me saying like, I want to attract love, and I'm like, well, let's work on love, but you need to have your house set up
You
for it.
got to
Or I
get
want
your
to attract,
house set up for it. That's for sure.
to have everything set up. So what happened was this group of Feng Shui people, like mostly it was like 70% Feng Shui, my Feng Shui community. And that's also the whole fact that like everyone's so connected in our Facebook group that they were like, they all wanted to meet. So we had this great day and it was really powerful. Yeah. So that was kind of one of the things that now I am doing more of that. And it just felt so good to really connect with people in person.
What did you learn from hosting an event like that? And what will you do differently next time?
What did I learn? Oh, the event was phenomenal. I actually was a lot more organized for it than I would normally be for things. I'd usually just
Good.
kind of rock up and be like, la la
Yeah.
la. Uh, we went like on the high end, like I was up on a stage, I had the mic, had the music, had a big team. I feel like I'm gonna like play it down. We had like everyone like on chairs. For me, because of my back, like I'm also like a yoga teacher, Reiki master, a healer. I do loads of like movement and body work, breath work.
Mm.
I want to change it into something more me. I went for kind of something that was like, this is what everyone else does. Like obviously, and I'm
Right.
like, actually,
I'll take the
although
package A with the stages and the lights and the flower over
yeah, and
here and the tall table and the director's chair. Yeah.
now, saying that, there was like 140 women on the stage, literally going mental to
Oh
Katy
my.
Perry firework,
There you go.
like literally rocking the stage. So it wasn't quite like a normal workshop per se. We had like people lying on the floor and crying and lots of stuff. Like it was great. Like I still did it my way, but I feel like I would like tweak things a little bit. And now I'm thinking of like a longer event, you know, because at the end of the day, I was like, I have so much more I want to do with
Oh,
them.
was it
Like
only
that.
one day?
It was one day.
One
Yeah.
day. And what
And
did you call it?
I called it From Vision to Reality.
From vision to reality. And the primary idea is feng shui. And then there's all these
And
applications of it, right?
yeah, and
Okay.
we did like a lot more of kind of the inner work around releasing the belief stuff and the trauma stuff that is holding them back from really moving to the next level with their feng shui. So they had like, you know, we had feng shui, loads of people who've done well with feng shui, and they were like, oh, I didn't realize I could do this other stuff to help. So it's like, for me, it's like the perfect combination with like mindset and healing work, having your house sorted, and then everything else layers on top.
So you'll do another one?
Yes. And what feedback we also got from that was the people who are not feng shui people, who are just kind of part of my world, but are
Yeah.
not, haven't done our program. They were like, I wanted to learn more about feng shui. So that's what I'm doing in November. I'm going to do 2 one-day events that are just diving into like the foundations of feng shui, get started, like things you need to do, like creating connection with their home. But like we talked about, like fun being a core value. I'm actually calling it a fun feng shui day. So we'll do more interactive, more connective, more meditative, like still embodying the things that I love to do through the lens of feng shui. So I have those coming up. So I'm gonna do one of the big day that I did before a year. And then as I travel around the world, I'm just going to do one day, the feng shui ones, and see how they go. That's like testing it this time for 2020.
I love it. So you are traveling around the world, and you and your husband are Feng Shui masters.
Yeah.
And what is your intention with the travels? And I ask as a fellow lover of travel whose vision of success is maximum travel, and I love the events in my hometown. So I love that you're having people coming out to Ireland instead of being like, what would be the most convenient location? Oh, I'll just go to this city that I don't really know people in, but it's more convenient for everybody, right? So, I have people come to Elmer, Quebec, Canada, because this is where I live.
I love it.
So what is your intention with the travels? Is it to be perpetually traveling and nomadic with your home base, or what? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so we are very, yeah, we're very clear with what we want, and we do want 4 specific bases that we go to. So the biggest upheaval as a feng shui expert is like moving from one
Of
place to like an
course.
Airbnb for months and being like,
Right.
what's the energy here? How can we fix it? Because also, we're changing the whole energetic vibration imprint of a place. So we'll only be leaving and it'll be like, oh, this is great.
It'll be so
So
nice. Yeah.
part of the journey
Interesting.
is figuring that out. So now we're gonna have the Ireland one sorted, and then Bali. We have land in Bali that we're going to build our own house. So we'll have a base there, and then Greece for the summer, Mediterranean, and Long Island because every time I go there to New York, magic happens,
Oh
and
yeah.
we
No
love it.
kidding.
We love it.
Well,
So
that's where we
it's
met. New
yeah, that's
York
where we
City.
met. Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I am officially RSVPing as yes to all 4 locations whenever you invite me. So what can we leave our audience with to learn more about you and more about Feng Shui? Where can we send them? What is your message for them?
So my message is your environment really matters for like growing your business, your message, getting yourself out there. It's like one of the things that is completely overlooked oftentimes. And when you do look at it, you're like, whoa, it's magical to just grow. People can find me at patricialohan.com, and I have 2 resources there. One is an ebook on how to feng shui your office. So, get the basics, get started there. And I also have one about how to turn your home into a money magnet.
Fun. How to turn your home into a money magnet. And this is all at
5,
patricialohan.com.
yeah.
And you were going to give me the subtitle after how to turn your home into
Yeah,
a money magnet?
the 5 sneaky ways your home is sabotaging your bank account and how to fix them.
That's good. That's good. Very good. Okay. Well, I'm really glad you came onto the Expert Speaker podcast, and I learned so much about Feng Shui and about you, Patricia. I knew that you had built a very successful expert business and an amazing lifestyle on an area of expertise that I am completely unfamiliar with. And it's incredible how you've built this virtual business. You said, I want to have an event because I want to see my people, but let's have it in my hometown area. And that's so cool that you did that. Super cool. I want to share with you, if I may, an event
Yeah.
that, I'll tell you the most beautiful spa. It's called the Nordique Spa. It's the largest spa in North America, 15 minutes from my house. I proposed to my wife there. It's incredible. I was so in love with the space that I wanted to share it with my clients, and I wanted to have an event there. So I had an event, I had another event. And then I realized, I can have a profitable event, hang out with amazing people in a beautiful place if I can find the place and invite the people and, have the vision of the event. So this might be version 6 is in Portugal. I've booked this gorgeous mansion in the Algarve in the south, 5 minutes from the beach on an olive orchard. 11 rooms, 30 beds, private chef, on-site musical performances, photographer, videographer, masterminding, sightseeing, co-working, content creation day,
Oh my God.
speeches, headshots, social media content calendar done in 5 days in beautiful, sunny, southern Portugal. So now that I've created this, I get to reach out to my favorite people and say, hey, you should come to my mastermind event in Portugal. It's going to be amazing. And get to bring my family, invite my friends to come visit as well, and travel at the same time, all because Airbnb and ideas. You pick the place, you have some ideas, you tell people about it, and bada bing, bada boom. So you're creating this, and this is how I'm sort of creating the traveler, educator, community builder, entrepreneur experience. And it's a cool thing. I'm happy to share that with you.
That is so amazing. And I think that this is the big part for me, is that you can create the life that you want. Some people may not want to go. You might be like, I don't do all the traveling. I want to have 4 homes. I don't want, it's like, I really want whatever it is you want. And that's totally cool, whatever it is that you want. But you can have it. That's for me. I'm like, and that's where my work really is. It's like, get your environment right, because you can create what you want from that space.
That's so good.
It's powerful. Yay.
So good. Well, I'm so glad you stopped by the Expert Speaker podcast. If you're listening, go to patricialohan.com, follow her, get her course, hire her to feng shui your home, and you're an inspiration. Thank you for being here, Patricia.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Expert Speaker Podcast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave us a rating so that more people can discover the Expert Speaker Podcast, and so more people can be empowered to share their message. Be sure to go to www.expertspeaker.com and take the masterclass to learn how to grow your business and make money speaking. It's totally free and will change your business. If you're ready to work with Expert Speaker, you can apply. Just go to expertspeaker.com/apply, and someone from our team will be in touch with you to help you grow your business with public speaking. That's expertspeaker.com/apply. We'll see you in the next episode.